Hey everyone. Oh, I totally forgot to use my other camera. Gives it such better clarity, but it's probably too late at this point. So we're just gonna be live, and if I'm fuzzy, I'm sorry. But hello everybody. So we're gonna give it a minute, see who shows up here. And of course, like this will be available on the replay. So anybody who isn't here live can hang out with us later. Then make some adjustments. Oh, that sun is amazing, but it's coming through that window and it's a little distracting. Okay. All right. So, hi. It is right at 12. I like being on time. I don't know about you guys, but I really like being on time. I really like starting on time. So I'm here on time for you guys at 12 o'clock here in Minnesota. And so maybe I'll just get started. I don't know what's going on for you guys right now, but I'm hoping that whatever you're doing, whether you're watching live or you are watching the replay here, that either way, you are hanging out in a comfy spot and all your distractions are off. Hopefully mine are too. If I get any dings or buzzes, I apologize in advance. But that you are taking the time for you today to do this, to do your practice, really. Like when it comes down to it, that's what all this is, right? Is our practice of becoming our best self. So taking the time for you, carving it out, putting everything else to the side. And I don't know if you're in your pajamas at home in your living room. I am not in my pajamas, but I do have I don't know if you can see, I have puffin tights. So I'm wearing my puffin tights that I got in Iceland, and I am wearing slippers. So I'm not in my pajamas, but I'm definitely cozy with you guys here today. All right, which I love. I love being cozy with you guys. It's the best. It's the best. Okay. And you'll also find out how weird I am as we go. The more you get to know me, you'll find this out. I'm not going to be super professional and all polished all the time. When I try to do that, it gets awkward. So I just don't. I just be me. That's how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to get started. And anyone who joins in, that's awesome. I know it's like 2 minutes after the hour. And anyone in the replay, hello, welcome. Let me know you're here. Hashtag replay when you join in. That'd be awesome. Okay, so I do have my notes. Anybody who's been in any of my live lessons before, whether it's in a course that we've done together or the other live things that we've got going on in the Authentic Rising Society or the Self-Compassion community on Facebook, anything like that, you know that I have to have my notes or else I will go on tangents because I want to tell you all the things. And I got to keep myself focused so that it's beneficial for you too. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with who am I, right? So I'm Kathleen Michelle, and you're joining me here through One Moment Center. So One Moment Center is my little biz that I got going on, and it's all things mindfulness experiences for transformation. And that means all things, right? Transformation for our relationship with ourselves, transformation for the world, right? Like all of it and everything in between. So mindfulness experiences for transformation. So sometimes that's practice sessions or workshops or the online courses that you guys sometimes do with me or retreats, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about one of the retreats coming up because it's all about the self-compassion and then some. So I'm super excited to share that with you. But I also am super excited that you're here. So please, whether you are watching this live or you are watching this on the replay, please give yourself a little pat on the back, congratulate yourself, have gratitude for being here today. And especially if you are carving out this time and putting everything else to the side for a little bit so that you can really, really dive in to what I have to offer you today. Please, offer yourself some gratitude for that. That is a huge, and I mean that, okay? All right, so I'm looking over at my notes if you can't tell. You can probably see my notes over here and my little pen and my water. See, I'm prepared for you guys, right? I'm prepared. Okay, so at the end, I don't want to forget to tell you this, at the end of this video that I'm hoping to keep pretty succinct for you guys, but at the very end, I am going to give you guys a special promo code offer for that upcoming retreat that is in April. And it's in Breezy Point Resort, and it's near Brainerd, Minnesota. So it's a gorgeous, gorgeous area. We're in the cabins. It's going to be great. Anyway, that's for later. See, I got to use my notes or else I get distracted. Okay, so you're here because I'm assuming you've got that self-critical stuff going on. You're really harsh with yourself. You might even be like downright mean to yourself, right? Stinky attitude with yourself, crappy attitude with yourself. And that sucks. It is painful, it is stressful, and it is hard to do our best in life when we are always being a meanie head to ourselves, right? And I can 100% relate to this, and we'll get into that. But you're here because you're hoping to shift that to self-compassion. And maybe you don't even know what self-compassion is yet. That's okay. I'm guessing you're here because you, at minimum, don't want that self-critical stuff going on anymore. And you'd rather have a much better, loving, kind relationship with yourself. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. That's exactly it. I'm going to give you the steps that I use to get there over and over and over again, because it's a practice, which we're going to talk about too, right? It's not a one and done, not a one and done. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to share those steps with you. And I'm going to do that in a way that you can take it with you right away and start working on things right away. Okay, and we're going to end with a little practice together after we go through the retreat information and any Q&As that might come up. Okay, so we're gonna go through the steps. We're gonna go through a little bit about the retreat in case you're curious about it. And then we're gonna do a little practice together at the end. And I'm gonna give you that promo code, all right? So I'm gonna share this information with you because I want to help you, okay? I want to be of service for you in a way that actually I didn't have, okay? So, and I'll get into that a little bit, but it's really important to me. It's really, really important to me that I'm here and being of service to you and sharing this information with you guys. So you might have already done some of the things that I did, right? Like read some of the books that are out there and done some of the online courses or videos or read up on all the tutorial type things. And maybe you've even gone to like yoga or done meditation and things like that. And you're still feeling stuck. Like that self-critical voice is still there. It's not moving on. Maybe you've made some improvement in being kind to yourself, but that self-critical voice is still there. And that's what we're focusing on today. Those are the steps that I'm going to share with you today, very specifically how to move out of that self-critical story and thoughts about yourself and move towards a better relationship with yourself, aka self-compassion. Cool? So if that's what you're hoping for, you're in the right spot. If that is not what you want and you need to leave and get back to doing whatever else you were doing today, I totally understand. Okay? I really think that whoever you are, you're going to get something out of today's live video lesson. However, if this just isn't for you, I get it. I totally get it. You go do you, and I will see you somewhere else some other time, and we'll do some fabulous work together then. Okay, so if you are ready, though, to finally move on from that self-critical voice, right? Drop the self-criticism, drop the self-loathing even, right? For some of us, it's that strong, like the self-loathing. If you're ready to drop that, this video is going to help you out, okay? It's going to help you out. And then if you end up feeling like it's really awesome and good for you, I would really encourage you to stay tuned for the retreat information, because we're going to take these how-tos and the skills and the strategies that I'm going to offer you today, and we're going to apply it like experientially for a whole weekend together. It's going to be awesome. And I really hope that you join in. Okay, so I will be posting links after the video so that you can look up that information. Don't go do that now. Hang out with me. Carve out this time. Be here. Put the distractions away. Don't go look at that link yet. Just hang out with me. There's a reason I didn't post that link yet. I'll post it afterwards. Okay, so a little bit about me, just a little bit, so you know where I'm coming from here. So I grew up as a super anxious person, right? Super anxious, but it was a sneaky kind where it was like the overachieving. So everyone thought she was just doing real well, right? And then some, but turns out I was a mess inside, but I didn't know it. I didn't know it. So I couldn't even talk about it. I didn't even know that what I was experiencing was anxiety and self-criticism. I didn't know, because I didn't talk to anybody about it. Nobody talked to me about it. So I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until after a few unfortunate things in my life that I call unwanted changes and challenges that came into my life. It wasn't until those things came into my life that I actually started to have awareness that I was a jerk to myself and that it was likely really impacting my relationship with everything else in my life. Okay. Because turns out our relationship with ourselves turns into a reflection for everything else in our life. Right. Okay. So it took a while. So mindfulness, though, as you guys know, One Moment Center is all things mindfulness, right? Mindfulness for experiences, for transformation. And so mindfulness and One Moment Center, all that stuff, like mindfulness did not come into my life until I was in college and graduate school, and I was reading about mindfulness and doing studies on mindfulness and all that stuff around mindfulness as treatment, therapeutic treatment for folks that I wanted to work with in the future. So I was learning about it that way and all the benefits and how it can help change the brain and right? All that stuff. But I was learning about it. It was in academia. It was very like up here, right? Living from the neck up, intellectual stuff. And then as a therapist, I started facilitating mindfulness in groups and things like that, right? And something started to shift and I was facilitating it, right? I wasn't even like going to practice mindfulness. I was facilitating these modules and handouts and skills, strategies, and things started to shift for me just from that. And I was like, oh, okay, something's going on here and it's very curious. I think I want to keep doing this. And so I did, but I fumbled around a lot. Like I said, I was reading the books, I was watching the videos, I was going to some Zen meditation centers, I was trying to meditate, like all these things. I was trying, but I was doing it by myself and I had no idea what I was doing or where I was going. Okay. So that's why I love being here with you guys, because I get to offer you what I didn't have or what I wish I would have had. Okay, which is the word Sangha. If you've ever heard of this, Sangha is essentially the word meaning a nurturing community, right, of other like-minded folks who are have maybe a similar goal in mind, but if nothing else, a supportive, nurturing community. So I didn't have that. So I love being able to build that and have you guys be a part of that with me. It's awesome. Okay, so turns out, as I was doing more and more of the practices and I was learning more and more about myself, because mindfulness brings us inward and we start to notice what's going on inside of us, hopefully working towards not judging it, just noticing what's going on inside of us, our thoughts, our emotions, our reactions, all those things. I was starting to really notice the healing work that I needed to do if I really, really wanted to evolve into my highest self and transform my relationship with myself. There was some healing work to do, because we don't get to this point in our life being jerks to ourselves and not have wounds that we then need to work on healing. It's cause and effect, can't help it, right? I'm going to shift my video here because the sun, it's so bright. You guys, it's so bright. Hopefully this isn't making you nauseous or have nausea. Grammar's a big thing in my family. So using the word nausea instead of nauseous is a big thing. I made a goof. Okay, so self-compassion. See, I just made a mistake. Self-compassion, big deal here, right? So self-compassion in replacement of this garbage attitude I had with myself was really important to my healing. And the more I heal, the more I can bring to the world. And that's just how it works. Okay. And that's how it is going to, that's how it's going to be for you. I was going to say, if you do this work, but I'm just going to say that is how it's going to be for you. Okay. All right. So you'll learn so much about me, by the way. If you guys come in to any of my workshops or the retreats, especially because you have so much time with me, you will learn some stuff about me. I share a lot of my stories and a lot of my experiences, and sometimes it might even seem like TMI, but that's how it goes with me. So I'm going to stop there about myself, and I'm going to start talking about what we're here to do together, which is shift from self-compassion, or other way around, shift from self-criticism to self-compassion. That's what we're here to do together. Cool. Cool. All right. So got a few steps here. There's really like 5 steps and then one like bonus kind of, right? But that just kind of wraps it all together. So just so you know where we're at together. So ready for this? Ready? You got your paper and your pencil. Some people really like to like take notes. Some people like to just soak it in. And it's a video. There's going to be a replay. I'll send it out. You guys can watch this again if you need to. So you can put that pencil and paper aside and just listen and soak it in and reflect as we go along. Cool. All right. But if you are like, I say that, but I know that if it were me, I like to write things down and I'm like journaling as we go. And so I get it. Do what you got to do. But soak it in whatever way is best for you. Here we go. I'm first, before we get into these steps, going to talk about what self-compassion is. Self-compassion isn't just being kind to yourself. It's a big part of self-compassion. But self-compassion is, in essence, your relationship with yourself, okay? So compassion means to suffer with. Okay, so self-compassion means to suffer with yourself, which might sound really terrible. I'm not trying to you're already suffering, right? You got self-criticism up the wazoo. You're already suffering. That's why you're here. You're ready for that to be done. So to suffer with yourself, though, is essentially having a loving relationship with yourself as you go through the hard stuff. I almost cussed you guys. I almost did it, but I didn't. Yes. That's hard for me. If you guys have, again, if you've been in my workshops or if you show up in my retreats, I cannot promise that I will not cuss. Okay, so self-compassion, our relationship with ourselves. That's what it's all about. It's being able to have a caring relationship with ourselves. Okay, got it? So that's what we're talking about to begin with. Okay, step number 1, it's the basics. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the foundation of all of this because mindfulness is intentionally paying attention, bringing awareness to whatever's going on right now. And you guys, if we do not have awareness, we do not have choice. We do not have the opportunity to change, to choose change. Awareness is where it all starts. Okay. And the more we practice mindfulness, the more, we become more aware of what's going on for us and our patterns and our reactivity and all that good stuff. But the more we practice it, just like going to the gym and pumping up our muscles, the more we do that, the stronger we get at it. And then we can do things that we haven't been able to do in the past more effortlessly. That might have been bad grammar, but you know where I'm going. At first, it might be hard because we're not used to it, okay? That autopilot that we are all on, we're reactive, we just go through the motions. And the more that we practice mindfulness, intentionally practicing mindfulness, the more mindfulness just shows up effortlessly in our life. And what that means is that we're going to make value-driven decisions. We're going to have less stress because our sympathetic nervous system is going to get chilled out and we're going to have more of our parasympathetic nervous system available to us. This is a little nerdy for you guys, I understand. And we're going to be able to regulate our emotions. And you guys, this is so cool. And this is part of why it's so important. Studies have shown that the more we practice mindfulness, the more the parts of our brain that are in charge of compassion for others and ourselves get stronger. Yup, you got it. So there are so many ways, so many ways to practice mindfulness out there. And I would just encourage you to start with whatever works for you. So if sitting on a meditation cushion for 30 minutes is your thing, go for it. For me, that was super overwhelming at first. I couldn't do it. It was terrible. So I didn't start there. I started with other things like bringing my 5 senses, the awareness, they're already there. Bringing the awareness of my 5 senses in something that I was doing, or walking mindfully, things like that. So bringing my attention to whatever I was doing on purpose. Okay. So, and then there's yoga and there's qigong and so many things, mindful walking, mindful eating, meditation, different kinds of meditation. There's so much out there to practice mindfulness. But as long as you are bringing your awareness to the current moment intentionally, and if at all possible, non-judgmentally. If anything, we can try to not judge our judging. We can at least start there. Then you're practicing mindfulness. Okay. So mindfulness is the foundation and a practice of mindfulness. So that's not just like, every now and then, like once a quarter, once every now and then. Like, I'm talking about developing a practice, bringing mindfulness to your everyday. Okay, so let's practice this. Put your feet on the floor, sit up straight, take a deep breath in, exhale it out. Okay, so just take a breath, right? Easy. So now when you take a breath, I want you to feel every moment of that breath coming in your nose and your nasal passage, down your throat, filling up your lungs. Notice what happens in your body. Notice the sensations of your body expanding. And then as you exhale, feel every moment of the exhale where your body contracts again naturally. It just does it. And all the air coming back out. Does the temperature change? All those things. Ready? So let's practice that together. Let all your air out. Take a deep breath in. Notice every moment and exhale. That's it, you guys. That's mindfulness. So if you took a minute to take 5 or 6 or 8 or 10, whatever, slow, deep breaths, just paying attention to what your body feels like when you breathe, that's practicing mindfulness. You don't have to carve out extra time until you want to. And I really mean that, until you want to, because that's going to happen. The more you practice mindfulness and the more you start getting the benefits, the more you just go, I want to do this, instead of, I got to carve out time, just like I got to carve out time to go to the gym and do my laundry and blah, I have to, no, none of that. None of that. Start where you're at, period. And then whatever comes along, whatever starts to feel more natural for you and inspiring for you, and you want to do that, then you go in that direction. But no forcing it, you guys. It always backfires. Okay, so step number 2. Step number 1, mindfulness and developing a practice. Has to be the foundation. Step number 2, when we are mindful, we start to recognize our thoughts. And that includes our crappy thoughts that make us feel crappy. So we might call that the ego. Okay, the ego, or our fear thoughts, or our role self. So the ego, I won't get into a lot of this right now. I have other videos about this. I have a whole course about this, online, on demand. You can go get that right now if you want to. But I won't go into a lot. I'm just going to share with you that the ego at one point was helpful for us, and now has a ton of maladaptive stuff going on. So we live in fear, we feel small, we feel not good enough, we feel limit, we feel lack, we feel not lovable. Ick, right? We're competing, we're comparing, we get jealous and angry. Like, that's all of our ego stuff. It's our ego telling us stories that keep us in fear and keep us small. And so we start to recognize how often our ego is running the show. So of course the things that are showing up in our life are showing up in our life. Duh, right? So shifting to love is the name of the game. So we're mindful. We start being aware of our ego and how crappy our ego treats us. And we notice that that is separate from love. And you can call this what you want here, okay? So some people use very spiritual words. Some people use very energy, universal words here. I'm going to stick with generic love and universe, okay? And then you fill in the blank with whatever works for you. Because for me, it's all the same. It doesn't matter to me what words you use. Okay, so love. We start recognizing the difference between our ego stories, wanting to keep us small and in fear and lack and limit, and love. And love, or our authentic self, love is at our core. And that is the energy that is of the universe. Okay, so we start recognizing that. All right, so that's step number 2, which is a lot, right? That's a lot. Step number 3, stop seeking approval. This is so hard because our ego really is driven by this fear that we aren't enough and that we need somebody else, something outside of us, experiences like achievements and success, things like that, or people that we put up on a pedestal to reassure us that we are indeed okay and worthy and lovable. You guys, we got to get out of this. We got to get out of this pattern. If we really want to have self-compassion, we can't let it be up to somebody else to determine if we deserve loving kindness for ourselves. So there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that step. There are so many strategies that we can use, but we got to stop that ego story. Okay. Mindfulness, recognize what our ego is, and then we got to kick those ego stories to the door, especially the ego story that we aren't okay and that somebody else gets to determine whether or not we are or are not okay. All right. Let me tell you right now, ourself, our love, our authentic self, it's not contingent on anything or anyone. It's already there. It's already been there. So this idea that like, am I lovable? What makes me lovable? Those are weird questions because we are inherently lovable. We are inherently loving. Nothing changes that. Our ego tells us that things might make us lovable or not lovable. So I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay, so that's my big tip. I didn't write that down on my piece of paper, but I really felt like I need to share that with you. Okay, so we stop seeking approval. Okay, so that's step number 3. Stop competing, stop comparing. Oh man, that takes us down icky places. Okay, so step number 4, ready? Step number 4, do whatever is necessary to live in line with love or your authentic self or spirit or energy or natural powers or life whatever it is. Okay, whatever word you want to use, we got to find out ways to daily live from and stay connected with that love. Period. So sometimes that's our mindfulness practice, and that's where we're at. Okay, so I have tons of tools that I use for this. And sometimes it's the same thing for 30 or 40 or 60 days that I do over and over and over again. And sometimes it's just whatever I feel like I need to do that day. And I let inspiration take the wheel, essentially, right? So this is really important. It's really important that we really take this time to do that because we have to go inward. And ways to daily, not just go inward and use mindfulness, that's the foundation, but we also have to find ways that work for us, that keep us feeling connected with that authenticity and with that love. Okay, because that is our truth and that is our inherent power. We got to stay connected we have to live from that place instead of our ego, instead of our fear. Okay, let me look at my notes to see if there's anything else I was going to say about that, because that's a big topic that I could go on tons of rants about, but I said I'd keep it short for you. Okay, I'm going to look, take a drink of water, do what you got to do. Oh, I'll take a drink of water too. So do what you got to do for a moment. Okay, so we're all back together. You got your drink of water, took a deep breath, wrote down what you got to write down. So I was saying that there's a lot of things that I do. So I'm just going to give you some examples real fast. I'm just going to list them off. So I do meditation. I do yoga. I do mindful walking. There's some texts that I really find connect with my soul, my spirit, my authentic self, love. Okay. So I make sure I do those things. I have some mantras that I use. So not just affirmations, but like mantras. So my favorite one, I'm gonna share this with you. Set Nam, S-E-T-N-A-M, Set Nam. Just breathing in, set, exhaling Nam if you're doing it silently, or you can just take a deep breath in and exhale, Set Nam. And do that over and over again. So Set Nam means I am truth. Okay. So using that kind of a mantra, there are mudras that I use, which are like hand positions that help us achieve certain energetic states, right? Supposedly. So either take it or leave it, by the way. Anything that works for you, take it. Anything that you're like, that is weird and stupid and I don't like it, just throw it in the trash. It's totally fine. Okay, so mudras, I like mudras. they feel good to me. So I use them. Okay. So things like that. I also take time to take, it might be an hour retreat, it might be a day retreat, or it might be a weekend or week retreat where I intentionally carve out time to be silent and go inward. And sometimes there's a theme to it, and sometimes there's not. It's just I'm spending some quality time with my authentic self, with my love, with my true soul self, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So those are some of the things that I do. There's a lot more that I will share with you if you hang out with me more often. Okay. So number 5, and this is where the magic happens, right? Well, there's magic happening all along, but we're talking about building that relationship with ourselves using self-compassion. So after we do these other 4 steps, it's going to seem so natural. And I'm telling you, it's going to seem so natural to just start shifting from the ego to love. And this is where self-compassion happens. We start being kind to ourselves without trying. And some of that shows up as the things that aren't working for us, the things that we might consider negative, they might just start falling off. Okay. They might just start falling off out of our lives, fizzling out, and we're not trying. It just happens. Okay. So that might even be things that you do that you recognize aren't healthy for you, like going for the ice cream when you're stressed out, or Netflixing over it when you're angry or when you're stressed or whatever, right? Like whatever it is that we might do that is keeping us from hanging out with what's going on inside of us, that might start falling off if it's not actually serving us. Okay. So this part just starts happening naturally. We just start being kind to ourselves. And there's so many ways that we can practice being kind to ourselves. And I'm going to lead you through something at the end. And it's very simple and so quick and so easy. And I can't wait to show you and tell you about it and have you practice that with me. But start being kindness to ourselves. Okay. We tell ourselves all the time, but, oh man, it's just so easy to be kind and compassionate and caring for other people, but I can't do it for myself. You guys, this just starts happening naturally and with ease when we've done these other steps. When we're using mindfulness, we recognize the ego for what it is. We start connecting with our authentic self instead, and we stop seeking approval, stop competing and comparing, we kick that pattern to the curb, and instead, we're doing whatever is necessary to stay connected with our inner wisdom, the guidance system that is naturally inside of us, love, authentic self, God, spirit, prana, life force energy, true soul self, whatever you want to say, right? We intentionally connect with that and live from that place, and it just becomes natural that we have compassion for ourselves. And the relationship with ourself is one of kindness. It just happens. But we can build that and we can practice that even more concretely. I don't like that word. Tangibly, strategically. We'll go that way, strategically. All right. So here's the bonus part. Sangha. Okay. I come back to that Sangha. Having community. And I wish I had this when I was going through all this, because it would have made a world of difference. Having community. And at first it might seem like weird, icky, vulnerable. And I get it. I totally get it. But when you have your tribe of folks who are also working on healing and evolving and transforming into their best selves, your progress will speed up so much because you're putting it out there that you want to match this energy. Okay. So I won't get into manifesting stuff. That's neither here nor there today, but it happens, you guys. Like the more that we commit to this practice and put it out there, I want this. I want to love myself. I want to heal. I'm willing to love myself. The more we put that out there by saying it, by talking to other people about it, by doing the things that are in line with that, the more things come into our life that offer those opportunities for healing, for connecting, for living wholeheartedly. You have more confidence. You feel empowered. You know what your purposes are. You live a passionate life, feeling fulfilled. And the relationships in your life are freaking awesome because it's reflecting the freaking awesome relationship that you have with yourself. Okay? So all the things. And Sangha speeds that up. I'm just telling you right now. having that community, having your tribe, if whether it's online and you don't know the people, you haven't actually met the people, or you hang out at the retreat with me, it speeds it up. Okay. All right. So, another thing about Sangha. Crap happens, right? Like life is going to happen. Things that are unplanned, unwanted are going to come into our life. And Sangha is incredibly, incredibly important for that. Okay. Because our Sangha is going to be supportive and nurturing and keep us on track with love and healing, even when the poop hits the fan. I didn't cuss. When the poop hits the fan, our Sangha needs to be there. Okay. So, and that can show up in many ways. Sangha can be a best friend. It can be a group of people. It can be faith-based community. It can be like the little tribes that come together with One Moment Center activities at the retreats. It can be your therapist. It can be me, right? Okay. So Sangha can be lots of things. Nurturing, supportive community. So that's my bonus, you guys. And that bonus speeds everything else up. At whatever part you're in, whether you're in the mindfulness part, recognizing your ego part, stopping the seeking approval part, but that is a big one. Whether you're there or you're doing whatever is necessary to connect with authenticity and that love that is inherent within you, or you're in that place of intentionally practicing self-compassion strategies, that Sangha is going to enhance, help you go deeper, and speed things up. Okay. Let's talk about the retreat for a moment, just for a moment, because all the information is out there. And the reason I'm talking about this retreat is because it's all about self-compassion. So it's called Awakening Maitri. And Maitri means being friendly towards yourself, self-compassion, loving kindness towards yourself. Maitri, M-A-I-T-R-I, Maitri. So Awakening Maitri. Self-Compassion Weekend Getaway at Breezy Point Resort in Brainerd, Minnesota. Cool. So I want to tell you a little bit, and maybe you've seen this online, maybe you haven't. I'll put the links below. Maybe you've seen the little flyers out and about. I don't know what you've seen. But I'm going to go through this real fast. And if anybody has questions, you can post them in here and I will get to them later because I'm going longer than I usually do, which isn't a surprise. I like to talk about all the things that are going to help you. Okay, so put questions in here and I will get to them later. I will answer every single one of them. And if you have a specific question that you're not wanting to put in here, you can just send it to info.onemomentcenter@gmail.com. Cool. All right. So what's going to happen at the retreat that's going to take this from the how-tos to the actual experiencing the transformations and the shifts? Got some cool stuff here. So it's going to be these things and then some. So we're going to develop strategies to develop the best relationship with yourself possible, better than you could imagine. Connect with your heart and soul during mindful movement practices, specifically designed for that. We're going to meditate and group. You also do some meditation on your own, but we're going to do some group meditations to build the energy of Maitri and self-compassion, gain clarity on what exactly has kept you in patterns of painful shame, fear, and limiting beliefs. Release the barriers and stuckness during a powerful fire circle ceremony. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is going to be awesome. It is so amazing and magical when we do these fire circle ceremonies. So we're going to experience the shifts towards love that heal old wounds, self-hatred, and shame through several self-compassion practices. We're going to use some creativity. And even if you don't consider yourself creative or artistic or whatever, that doesn't matter at all. Okay. Creativity is essentially accessing our inner voice to create. Okay. That's what creativity is, instead of following a how-to book or connect the dots, right? So creativity. So we're going to use creativity to not only deepen our relationship with ourselves, but learn to love our whole self. We're going to learn and practice the powerful F word, forgiveness. We're going to do forgiveness practices that set you free from patterns that have kept you stuck. And we're going to find out how healing your relationship with yourself is part of your true purpose. Okay? We're going to do this all while being in the cozy cabin getting away from the daily grind and being in a beautiful space with beautiful souls to do our healing work and shift our relationship. Okay. So if you have any questions, I will get answers to you. Just put them in here and I will get back to them. Okay. So, and I'll put the links for information down below. All right. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So we're going to do a little practice together. All right. So it's super simple. Just want you to get comfortable wherever you are. Take a few deep breaths to really just get here in the moment. Take a few breaths. Then you're going to take one of your hands and you're going to place it on your heart, or you can put your cheeks in your hands, very sensitive parts of our body. Take a few deep breaths, get into the here and now. You're just going to offer yourself some friendliness. You might bring to mind something that's been hard or challenging or painful for you lately. And just notice if that's there. You can even notice where in your body you're feeling that pain. Noticing that frustration or anger or just not feeling settled. And offer that part of your body compassion, just saying, I care about that pain. I care about that suffering. Continuing with your deep breaths and saying to yourself, may I be well. May I heal. May I bring love to myself and the world. May I be well. May I heal. May I bring love to myself and the world. You can do that practice for a minute, for 10 minutes, all day long. Okay? So just being friendly to yourself, having compassion for yourself. That's it. Super easy, quick. That's my go-to. That's my go-to that I'm sharing with you guys. You're welcome. All right. Okay. So again, if you want to know more about the retreat, look for the links below that I'll share after I'm done with this. Saw the flyer, you have the information, you know that you can email me if you have any questions at all, info.onemomentcenter@gmail.com. As easy as that. I will get back to you. I love talking to you guys, so feel free to email me. Okay, so if you're ready to go deeper and take these how-tos and actually experience the strategies and experience the shifts and the transformations, please come to that retreat. I would love it if I have to get another cabin because we are at capacity, okay? So I'm gonna do yoga, I'm gonna do meditation, we're gonna do creative practices, we're gonna do that fire circle ceremony. We're gonna do so much together that you get to take with you for the rest of your life, right? Because the work that you do doesn't stop after the weekend is over. You then get to take those strategies and the healing that you've done during those days together. You get to take that healing with you and then expand on it, right? So you get to take these practices that we're going to do together and experience them over and over again whenever you need to keep your healing practice, to have more love for yourself that you can then bring to the world. And you will notice that the more love and compassion that you have for yourself, the more every area of your life starts to shift and change and transform and reflect that love that you have for yourself. So I want nothing more than for you to come to this retreat and join me and do this work together. Okay. So again, the links will be down below. All right. Okay. So I just want to share real fast a couple things that folks have shared with me after they have done workshops and retreats. And you can take this or leave this, but I think it's super powerful, some of this stuff. Okay, so this is what somebody said after attending a retreat. Actually, it wasn't a retreat, it was a series. Said, you really have been a holy calling, I think, to put people in a context of something beautiful, deep, and profound, to search for meaning, healing, and dharma. That's it, right? So somebody else. Thank you, Kathleen. That session enabled me to see a difficult situation in my life from a more compassionate place, and it's given me a more peaceful and centered week. It was lovely to see your smiling face and to be in such a welcoming group. And that was just one workshop, you guys. That was just a workshop. It wasn't even a retreat. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is somebody who was actually at a retreat that I did at Breezy Point. So she said, Kathleen, I can't express my gratitude to you for thoughtfully and purposefully planning a powerful weekend at a beautiful venue. From the initial welcome at the coffee shop, which is so great, to the sessions, discussions, journaling, and the tearful, moving goodbyes. Oh, there was so much there. There was so much healing and emotion going on. I am forever changed. Thanks so much to you and the beautiful, compassionate women I shared this with. Okay, so there's more, but I'm not going to go into it. I just hope that you have any questions that you reach out to me. And I really, really hope to see you more often, even if it isn't at the retreat. I hope to see you more often in the Facebook page and the Facebook groups that are out there, the Authentic Rising Society, the Awakening Maitri community, in the courses. Some of them are live and some of them are on demand. I hope to see you more often because I want nothing more than to be of service to you and to guide you in ways that I really wish I had guidance around when I was going through all of this and trying to figure it out on my own. You don't have to do that. I am here for you. I would love and be honored to be part of your Sangha. Okay, friends, enough for now. Thanks for hanging in there. This is what you got to do to get your promo code, your special promo code. Email me, info.onemomentcenter@gmail.com. And you just have to ask. You just have to say, give me the special promo code for the retreat, and then I will email it to you. Okay? Because I want folks that I'm going to be very clear. I want the folks at the retreat who are ready and willing and excited to do this work. And if you are willing to email me to get a promo code, I know that you fit that description. Okay, the retreat will be most powerful when we have the folks there who are saying, I am ready, I want this, I am excited for it, I can't wait for it, I'm meant to be there. And I know that's you if you reach out to me. So I'm going to give you $250 off. And that's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna give you $250 off your registration if you email me and just say, give me the special promo code. I watched your video, give me the special promo code. Okay, all right. So info.onemomentcenter@gmail.com. That's all you gotta do, you guys. That's it. And then I will just give you $250. Cool? All right. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is Kathleen Michelle. And if you want anything more, you can just go to onemomentcenter.com. And I'm going to post those links below. If you have more interest and you're feeling ready to register or just need a little bit more information about that April retreat. It's April 10th through 12th at Breezy Point Resort in Brainerd, Minnesota, near Brainerd, Minnesota, with me and other lovely souls who are just as excited to do the work. Okay, take care, everybody. Set Nam and Namaste.